Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. What a great show today. You know, I've been waiting to get Miss Shalini Sahay on the show for a number of weeks. She's very, very busy with her very successful company called Service 5. And I call Shalini the queen of remote services. And it's really interesting. You know, we all know that businesses are understaffed, they're overloaded with work, or sometimes they just need additional skilled workers to sort of fill in to help them with their technology-driven platform. And that's what Shalini does. She really connects businesses with professionals in the field who are willing to work remotely. She knows everything about this remote working. She's the queen of remote service providing. Shalini, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited. You're an award-winning entrepreneur. It's an honor to have you on the show. But let's start by pulling the lens back to 30,000 feet, Shalini, as we always do, and tell us about Service 5.
Would be happy to do that. So Service 5 is a remote service provider that houses in-house talent globally, 24/7, remotely, but we also do it hybrid because we're here to service the businesses. And it's in a team setting, which sets us apart from other businesses. So that is what Service 5 does at a high level, 30,000 feet view.
I love it, Shalini. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about a company. Maybe they need some support. They need some skilled workers. They need something to help them, let's just say, with their technology-driven platform. What's the onboarding process look like? How do they contact you? And what does that conversation sort of sound like?
Okay, hi. That's a great question, Andy. So what we first do is we do an assessment of the business, because we're not here to just breathe down our 5 services that we provide. We're here to actually listen to what people need. And because we have 2-pronged customers, we have ones that already need us and ones that don't know anything about housing an outside provider to help them. So the first thing we do is an assessment of needs. And then from there, what we do is we match them up with a team, with an entire team that will support them. And we align completely with the external needs. Now, we service such intricate industries such as aerospace, technology, and legal. You can't make it a cookie cutter system. You have to see exactly what they need. There's different clearance levels, security levels, technology levels, and we adapt to it. There's external processes, there's internal processes, and we make sure that we're all aligned and on the same page, because we are a strategic partner for the long run for these companies.
I love it. It makes all the sense in the world. And for the entrepreneurs watching the show, rewind what Shalini just said, because it all starts with the needs of her customers, of Service 5's customers. They always put the customer at the forefront of every single thing they do. And again, she has very focused areas across very important industries: aerospace and engineering, healthcare, medical, legal, manufacturing, technology, construction, and more. And when we talk about those types of companies, it's very important that they get not only an expert to help them, the same type of expertise, obviously, that they get through Shalini and her entire team at Service 5, but they get a platform that's easy to use. So let's talk about that, Shalini, because one thing that really caught our eye about what you do is you provide a nice platform for your customers to use.
Absolutely. So first thing I did want to mention is our IT platform and infrastructure. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my managed IT service provider. Absolutely. STS and Torrance, co-founders, James Warwick and Sam Seth. They really lived out their mission in being a trusted managed IT provider, which is enabling me and empowering me to move forward with having a rock solid foundation. So I just wanted to give STS a shout out. So going back to the process, though, laying out that foundation of IT, and then next step is the process of the people. And, you know, we also are actively, constantly looking for staff outside of the barriers from the wall setting. And there's a lot of talents out there who are just not able to work or go to a 9-to-5 job anymore. So we are searching for them. We are looking for them, and we want them on our team, because what sets us apart, Andy, is we in-house the talents. So we're not just trying to find people and bridge that gap of your need and say, bye-bye, good luck with them. We actually, they are our team. They are our family. So it is important to feel that connection, which, you know, regardless of what form of technology you need to feel part of a team. You need to feel part of that growth. You need to feel part of that journey that an entrepreneur is on. So that's what we're actively searching for as well.
I love it. It makes all the sense in the world. And that's really the thing that's your differentiator. That's the thing that sets you apart, is that you bring these people in as part of an in-house talent, which is really, really awesome, because obviously the corporate culture starts at the top with you, Shalini, and the way in which you look at the world, the way in which you look at your customers as being the gold, the thing that makes the world move for your company is taking care of those customers. That flows through your entire staff with your in-house talent. And of course, that's the type of experience that you want your customers to have. And that's the type of experience that you become known for at Service 5. Now, let's talk about the name, because it's very interesting. Let's talk about Service 5, because there's a reason why there's a 5 on there. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, with the over 25 years of experience, there were so many different services. So I started with 20. And when I was in business school, I was kind of going through this with my professors. And then they're like, that's a little too much. Why don't you scale it back a little bit? So then I went down to 10, and I went down to 15, or 15, then 10. And honestly, some of it's family related. We're all S's and party of 5. But the true reason is because the 5 service is what I'm immensely passionate about and what I did throughout my business tenure. So that's where it ties into for Service 5.
I love it. It makes all the sense in the world. Now let's talk about remote teams, because it's a great way for companies to really get what they need if they can't do it sort of themselves or want to rely on the expertise of someone like you at the company. So let's talk about how important, Shalini, remote teams have become to sort of the economy. How important are they?
Oh, it's immensely important. And I'm a huge advocate for it, not just today, not just because of COVID. I actually thought of this idea in 2014. And when I used to talk to other CEOs about it, they thought I was slightly crazy. And I said, no, I'm really thinking about efficiency. I'm thinking about cost savings. I'm thinking about staff that doesn't get past that technological filtering of resumes. If you don't reach the 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, you're never talked to. And so I feel with remote setting, we have more options to help people and businesses. So that, like I said, the 2-prong is the people and the clients. And what it also does, Andy, is it's for sustainability, and it's to reduce vulnerability, and it gives you business continuity. So the model that I've set, and I've set it on purpose, is to do that for the businesses. So just think about when you house one employee to do everything for you. What happens if, unfortunately, they get sick, or they just decide to move out of country, or they just don't want to work anymore? And you're left with a gap in coverage. And what does that do to your business that you're not performing every single day? What does that do to businesses that are performing for other clients? And so to make a sports analogy, think of everything as a team. You have a first string quarterback, second, third. And that's how I kind of look at it in the business world. You have to have that business continuity and support. And not only does it do that for the businesses, it does that for the staff. So they're not completely pinned against the wall and trying to do 100 things a day. It's, divide and conquer. And that's why this is the way I said it.
I love it, Shalini. It makes all the sense in the world, and something that really sort of shines through with what your offering is that you really look at yourself and your team as being an advocate for your clients. And I really love that so much. So where did that passion of advocacy come from? Where did that stem from? Did you learn that in business school? Did that happen along your entrepreneurial journey? Because that's at the forefront of everything that you do at Service 5, and that's really why you've become one of the leaders in the field.
To be honest with you, back to the family roots, just growing up around a lot of doctors, lawyers, engineers, and you learn in each industry, they're advocates for you. In healthcare, they're an advocate for your health. And legal, they're an advocate for your legal expertise. And I wasn't too sure if I wanted to go into those industries. And as a child, most kids don't raise their hands to be an entrepreneur. It's always doctors, lawyers, engineers, dentists, firefighters. And I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I always had a voice that had to be heard. And so forming something like this enables me to be advocates for my staff and advocates for my clients and what I'm trying to build. So it's just always been innately in me. I think business school obviously helped me to voice that and have that confidence to do that. And you're absolutely right. I am an absolute advocate for anyone that comes my way.
I love it. It's really fantastic. It's a great way to start your day and know that you're helping so many of your clients. And another thing that kind of comes to mind, Shalini, is that when people reach out to you, a lot of times they're trying to bridge a gap that comes up as a company begins to grow. So I would imagine that you get to experience a lot of companies that are growing, and that must be very exciting for not only them, but for you as well and your team, to be able to provide this type of support for a growing company. Because when a company is growing, it's very exciting. Do you feel that, energy when you're working with your clients?
Absolutely. You want to be alongside with them, and not just for when their success is happening. You want to be there for them when they are not at the most successful point. And I really try to focus that with my clients. But of course, when we're winning. It's a team. We are a team, and their success is my success. My success is their success. And we become one mission, one vision, one team. And to be a part of that, it ignites fire to my team and it keeps building that momentum and, getting more staff to come on and be my talent powerhouse. And there's nothing more exciting about that, to be honest with you. And enabling people to exercise their skills, their talents, giving people hope that haven't been able to work or due to medical conditions, they can't work. And so being part of that exciting team, it brings life to everything. So yes, I'm so excited about that.
I love it, Shalini. It makes all the sense in the world. And for the people watching the show, you might want to rewind what Shalini just said, because she really gave you a little mini MBA there. She gave you a little mini Harvard MBA. At Harvard, you're going to have the classes and you're going to have the professors and the students and case studies, and they're going to be talking about entrepreneurship and building a business. And one thing that always comes clear is that you have to have a great team. And the way in which Shalini approaches this with her clients is that she's part of that team. She's not even an extension. She is part of the team, actually, as a team would work together in a very meaningful way to grow a business. So it's very, very exciting and very, very interesting. Now, Shalini, when we think about entrepreneurship, you've seen so many companies that you've helped. So many of them have done so well by bringing in the services of Service 5, that you're able to offer in a very, very powerful way. What is it that you see from successful entrepreneurs that sort of stands out? Is there something when you talk to these entrepreneurs that stands out in your mind that sort of weaves its way through all the successful entrepreneurs that you work with?
I can tell you from the seat I'm sitting in, and I can probably speak on other entrepreneurs, is they are purpose and why driven, 100%. You can listen to every speaker out there and they speak about that as well, but you always go back to your roots of why you started something and what your purpose is. And you have to actually tap into that pretty often. I would say almost every day. Sitting in an entrepreneur seat, forget the long days. There's days where you don't sleep at all. And especially with hyper growth, you're tired, you're exhausted, you've hit the wall. And in entrepreneur seat, you get the glorified version of jets and Turks and Caicos. It's not all that at all. It's constant dedication and drive and passion And that is what an entrepreneur's life is. So when you're sitting with these entrepreneurs, they are innovators. They bring life to products and services. So I encourage everyone to reach that entrepreneurship path, because you're building something that someone didn't even think of or want to do it. And I'm super excited about being an entrepreneur, and I advocate and encourage everyone to do it if they have not thought about it before. And I think of innovation. If you don't innovate, you die. We've seen businesses fall off because of that. And so through entrepreneurship, you're bringing life, you are innovating, you're being creative, and you're enabling opportunities and giving people chances. So I can't imagine a better atmosphere to be in life.
I love it. It's very empowering, and it's very empowering to hear you talk about this. And obviously anyone listening understands that corporate culture starts at the top. And when you're working with Shalini, you get that sort of energy, that pump of energy that she has, which is really, really great. Now, let's talk about the powerhouse talent that you bring in, Shalini. When you talk to talent that you're going to bring into your program, what are some of the things you look for? Is it that they're going to work hard? Is it their intelligence level? Is it their commitment level? Is it that they understand that they're an extension or not extensive? They become part of the team of your clients. What's the most important thing for someone to get a job really as one of these powerhouse talents that you're able to bring in for your clients?
Oh, this is such a good question. You know what? Skills is always important. That's what's going to drive the bus forward. You need to have that skills, and especially when you're touching aerospace and technology and legal. Absolutely, you've got to have that skills. But if you look at the behavior of your staff, you have to have someone that's going to align with, especially someone like me who's super embedded to the business, who's super passionate, who's super hungry, who's out there to gain so much clients right now and just business. You have to be able to communicate and be part of the team. And I feel skills is very important, like I said, but you also need to look at people who may have skills, but maybe not to the max level. And another part focus area at Service 5 is reskilling and training. I've actually reached out to a lot of people who graduated maybe in chemistry, maybe in different important sectors, and they actually don't know the basics of doing things. And we're taking the time to train them. And so skills is important. The behavior and being a teammate, I almost say superpower that, because if you've got a great, it's that saying, you got that best salesman, but he can't get along with other people on your team. And it's like having the bad apple and a bunch of good apples. So it's the attitude. I really feel I've talked to talents who their passion and drive and their attitude, I've hired them because that supersedes their skills, to be honest.
I love it. Passion and attitude. You hear it all the time from the great entrepreneurs that you have to have it. Shalini, something that came across my desk when I was doing some research on you was very beautiful. And the way in which you think about gifts, and you've said that the greatest gifts are bestowed to those who give selflessly. So let's talk about that, because that's a really, sort of empowering, remarkable, positive, enlightened way to live one's life. Where did that come from for you as an entrepreneur?
Back to my roots, my family. You don't have to have everything perfectly aligned in life. The perfect amount of money in the account, the perfect number of clients in your back pocket, but you can always give. You can always help. And you can always open the doors for someone. You can always create opportunities and chances, which they actually don't even cost any money. And so I've always been free-spirited since I was a young child in giving. I've always felt, and not because there's an ROI on it. That's just part of your journey and in life. You should just be a person that gives and helps people out. And you're just creating goodness and spreading it. I mean, that's what life is all about.
That's right, Shalini. That's a great approach. I was speaking to another entrepreneur recently, and she said, Andy, I was talking to a friend, and I said to my friend that I feel selfish. And the reason why I feel selfish is because when I give, I get so much more in return, in abundance, that I'm almost feeling selfish about it, because I know when I help somebody, it comes back, 3, 4, 5-fold. That's not the reason she does it, but that's sort of the attitude. And I hear the same type of attitude from you, where, you want to give selflessly. You've been given a great gift, and with that great gift of yours, you're able to not only build an amazing company, but give as well. So I want to lead into entrepreneurship a little bit, Shalini, because it's very interesting. We'll have some people watching the show, maybe some younger entrepreneurs, or maybe some seasoned entrepreneurs that are maybe coming across a roadblock. Maybe they're coming across an obstacle in the road. Maybe they're hitting a wall they can't get through. And you and I both know as entrepreneurs that if you're not hitting roadblocks, you're not pushing hard enough. That's just part of the whole deal. That's part of it, and that happens. But for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, maybe you could give them some advice about when they hit a roadblock and how to get through it, and what the mindset is to have to get through in a powerful way.
That's a really good question too. I can put myself in those shoes right now, and the best advice I can give is your mindset. You have to almost manifest and vision that you're getting past that roadblock. And it's like driving on the 405 freeway and you see accidents and you could see it from far. You're not going to drive into it. What do? You change paths. You go down a different road. You shift gears. In a stick shift, you're never in first gear going 65 miles an hour. So you have to shift your mind to positivity. You have to shift your mind to solution oriented. And you have to shift, you become the strongest, your mental state of mind through an entrepreneur's life becomes so strong because you have to mentally constantly talk to yourself. No joke. Okay, how am I going to get through this? These challenges we're faced with every day, not the basic challenges of how to run a business, but then other things get thrown at you that you're really not prepared for. And it can throw you off your feet. And what do? And you change your mindset. You sit down, and you say, this is the problem. What are the solutions? And I'm more of a take off the Band-Aid and remove the whole plumbing. Don't mask things. Don't mask tape it. Look at the solutions and look at the problems and find out why the problem was there in the first place. And a lot of it will go back to your process of how things may have been missed. And so I do that a lot. But it's my mindset that you have to push through. And I joke with some entrepreneurs that I know, and I say, I'm driving a bulldozer and I'm just going to keep going. Like, I'm not going to let a hurdle stop me, because you see that, and you go, like I said earlier, your purpose and why is so much greater that you focus on that. You get past your hurdle. You get past the things that are holding you back, because your drive and purpose and why is your superfood. It fuels you. So that's your gas. That's going to keep you going. And that's why I say for entrepreneurs, do something that means something to you. Whatever you're creating, it's got to mean something to you, because you'll fall back on that heartbeat of it and you'll push through, and surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, because you need that supported energy. The power of shared energy is really igniting and powerful. So that's something that I would tell any entrepreneurs, or even seasoned entrepreneurs. I'm sure we can all tell you that same messaging is be with like-minded people, because entrepreneurs, we're in a whole different planet.
I love it. And entrepreneurs are really the driving force. And Shalini, you mentioned on a number of occasions during our interview today about your family, and it's obviously, something that's so important to you. And it's so wonderful to hear how the family has positively influenced you. And I'm sure everyone in the family has had that same type of influence. When we think about mentorship and we think about surrounding yourself with a really strong team of people that can give advice, how important is that to the success of Service 5 with what you're doing there at the company?
It's like having a coach, right? So back to my sports analogy, how influential are coaches? Very. They're driving you. They're teaching you. They are listening to you. They're alongside of you. So mentorship is really important. I'm very fortunate to have previous employers who are my mentors, good friends who have become my mentors. I don't know by choice, but they become my mentors. and they drive me, they guide me, and you need that guiding support. They become almost like your angel, and you rely on them, and it's very important. It's actually a very important asset for Service 5 to have that mentorship, because I rely on it, because I don't know everything. I mean, I've worked for over close to 30 years of my life, but it doesn't mean I know everything. And there's so much happening with technological changes and AI, and just that alone is, a whole different beast to tackle. And so you just have to adapt. You rely on mentorship. You rely on other entrepreneurs. You talk to like minds, and you push forward. But just like a team, you got to have that coach alongside with you.
I love it so much, Shalini. It's really remarkable. And again, thank you so much for cutting some time out today. I call you the queen of remote service providers. There's so many businesses right now that are growing, that are understaffed, they're overloaded with work, they need some additional skilled workers, and now they can get that exactly through your platform, through your company. And what makes it even better is that when they contact and reach out to you, they're not just getting some workers, they're getting team members. They're getting people that look at the success of the organization the same way that they do. And it's a collaborative effort. Everybody joins hands through Service 5 to the clients, which is led by Shalini's sort of passion and her commitment to that service that we've talked about, that she's learned through her entire life growing up in a wonderful, wonderfully, a wonderful family that has taught her so many life lessons as well. So it's really powerful. And again, you specialize in, very, very specific areas, aerospace and engineering, like you mentioned, it's a very specific set of skills for those areas, healthcare and medical, legal, of course, and technology, manufacturing, and construction all have their very specific needs that you're able to balance with your in-house team, which is really, really remarkable. And if you don't have the right people, you're going to find them, and you're an expert at doing that as well. So in today's ever-changing business environment, Shalini, you've really made a name for yourself with your company of being ready, being at the ready, and being at the forefront for companies to reach out to you, get what they need to continue to get through those growth phases. So it's absolutely remarkable what you've been able to do, Shalini, at Service 5. I wanted to take a minute just to thank you so much for coming on the Entrepreneur Spotlight series. I found it very interesting, and I love the way that you've incorporated your life lessons into your business. It's inspirational for entrepreneurs to hear that story, and this is why you're not only an award-winning CEO, but someone that is continuing to sort of take the torch for great entrepreneurship and move it forward along the way and pass it down to the next group of entrepreneurs when that time comes. So Shalini, thank you so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight series today.
Thank you, Andy, for having me. It was wonderful.